my followers will see Chapakars for 5 here, and today I got ourselves a new series that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, ever since I started watching people like Mighty Mapper and Delay Tactics, right? So, what I have in front of us right now, this is the Men of War Assault Squad 2 mod. I know it's older, but I'm just now starting to look into it. There is 14 factions that you guys are able to side and root for. So I think the main thing that I want for this series is I want it to be solely based off of the interactions of the AIs in the game. Like, obviously I'm going to try to push along the battles if things seem to be frozen or a stalemate at any point in time. I'm not going to involve myself in any of the strategies. I know a lot of people didn't like when Mighty Mapper would just kind of throw a bunch of soldiers out in the middle of somewhere to try to throw things along, and it completely changed the tide of the battle. I'm just going to note right now, I am not very good with map making or anything like that, so I am going to be using a lot of pre-done assets. But if there's any maps and whatnot, if you guys get into the story of it, if you guys want to send me maps that I could use that are themed around these guys and the ideas of all of them. But I already have the 14 flags that I'm going to be using to represent these nations. So from left to right, there is yellow, turquoise, tan, red, purple, orange, obsidian, neon purple, neon green, light green, gray, normal green, gold, my bad, and blue. So if you guys want to represent any of them, I already am going to have kind of an introduction of what I want these nations to, kind of how they are represented. Like, for example, Obsidian, the black nation in the middle. I want them to be kind of like a group of thugs and thieves that are trying to just, raid and conquer the land for themselves. They don't necessarily have a goal in mind. They just want to cause havoc and take over things. Now, I am going to try to keep blue, green, gray, and tan similar to how they were in Sergeant's Heroes, Toy Army Men. But the rest of them, I'm going to be coming up with either as along the way that I am going, so on the fly pretty much, or I'm going to have preset, kind of like how I already have an idea for Obsidian. When it comes to what nations are friendly and whatnot together, that's something I'm also going to figure out. But when it comes to the names of the cities, the towns, and just people involved with the story itself, I plan on... Oh, it's suspicious, alright? Okay, cool. I want most of the events that happen they're going to be posted. So if I have an idea for a type of battle and where the battle's gonna go, what I'll probably do is do maybe a prediction poll, stuff like that. I might do so that you guys are more involved with the story. I might be oh, this nation's town is either heavily defended, or I'll be either heavily defended, not so defended, or almost deserted. And me doing polls like that I'll be able to record, and then the result of those battles determine if, like, say if purple and orange were going at it, whoever wins that battle takes the territory. And hopefully by the end of it, I think the one thing that was kind of disappointing with some other people's playthroughs of story and everything is that there was never really an end to it. I think the idea of one nation taking over everybody is amazing. And I really can't wait to see what narrative takes over all of the land. And probably what I'm going to do is maybe down the road I might add extra like army men mods so it's a little bit more in depth. I might allow the community to be more involved with the battles themselves. Don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm hoping people will help me out with how things work. Because as of right now, the main things that I know is how to place units, how to change the colors of the tanks, how to make people go into the tanks. The biggest one I have a hard time with is going to be the like waypoints and commands and assigning IDs to the units. I know how to assign people to like certain players and everything, but other than that, I'm kind of like a novice. So I am really focusing on the whole story aspect and kind of like what you're getting into before the battle starts. As of right now of me recording this, I do have the current, I guess you could call it, battle map or the nations map. I also have all 14 factions. I know some people, I know Mighty Mapper, when it came to the different green colors, he kind of was like, oh yeah, these people rebelled against them, but they're all the same nation. I actually wanted them to all be separate identities so that there's just more variable to it. Like maybe I could be like for the dark green one, it's like, yeah, you know what, if some of them I don't think necessarily if a group were to rebel they would just automatically change colors. I think that's my biggest thing. So like there might be a battle where you'll see two dark green forces on the map. One's like player one will be the main, and then player two will be the rebellious faction. But when it comes to if like villages or towns and stuff rebel, I think I'm gonna leave that entirely up to the community. And if certain narratives and stuff go across, I think I'm gonna also leave that up to the community as well. And what I'm saying by that is like, say like there's a certain village that's owned by red, is surrounded by their most hated faction. Red is usually enemies with I'll say like neon green or neon purple. We'll just go with that because they're almost opposites. That's their most hated faction, and they're surrounded by it. The people of there do not like being surrounded, and they've been surrounded for multiple days, if not weeks. I might randomly put out a post that's like, okay, does this village rebel? And then depending on your guys' responses and how much interaction there is, if it's yes or no, determines if they go to war against themselves. And then I might be like, oh, there was scouts of turquoise near them. Do they get involved? Do they side with somebody? Let's side with one of the nations. So then it creates like more of a player dynamic to it. And I will allow once everybody understands what each nation is representing one way or another, I think they'll have a better understanding of how strong and how weak certain factions will be and what type of tactics they'll use. Like everybody knows that the normal tan faction is it's a republic that is kind of similar to the growth of Germany. So they have large numbers, have like good amount of armor, able to compete on multiple fronts against 3 other nations. Not saying that the other 3 are weaker anyway, but really it was mainly a war against tan and green. And gray and blue Gray was kind of like the middleman, where they helped out on both sides. You've seen it in Sergeant's Heroes that they helped out green, but realistically they were providing resources for both nations, or Gray was against green. Okay. And then blue was kind of like another support nation that they kind of just got intel, or they helped out towards the end of something. But yeah, I think that's what I have to say for this video. I hope people get excited. I hope you guys spread the word of it, because I know it's been a while since anybody's actually done any Army Men content. And I know this isn't new Army Men content, but you know, at least I'm finally trying to get into something that I really enjoy. And I hope other people enjoy it with me. Thank you so much for watching. Tell me what you know, what you feel down in the comments below. And if you have any ideas, I am more than willing to add them. I may not add every idea, but there is a chance that yours will be in a video. So feel free to give them to me down below. Any maps, any tips on the game itself, on how to do things when it comes to scripting and everything, more than willing to accept that. And yeah.